Hello, everyone. This is Arthur Robinson Jr. I am the creator of PowerfulInterviews.com. In this exclusive interview, you're going to hear from a great friend of mine. His name is Jim Randel, and he specializes in the real estate industry. And I highly recommend, if you want to hear this life changing interview that you will not find anywhere else, go to www.powerfulinterviews.com. And in this interview, you're going to hear how to invest in real estate the right way, not the wrong way, how to invest in foreclosures, and how to invest in short sales. So, this information that I'm going to share with you in this powerful interview that you're going to hear is going to change your life. So, check it out.
Good evening, everyone. This is Arthur Robinson Jr., and tonight I have a special treat just for you. In this exclusive, powerful interview, I'm going to be interviewing a great friend of mine. His name is Jim Randel, and he is an expert in the real estate investing arena. Mr. Jim Randel is a graduate of the Columbia University School of Law, has made his living as an entrepreneur, having been involved in several highly creative and successful real estate and business deals. Throughout his entire 30-year career, it has been his passion to write, speak, and teach on subjects of financial and personal achievement, and that is an awesome resume. And I'd like to welcome Jim Randel to the call.
Thank you for having me, Arthur.
Well, thank you, Jim, for taking time out of your busy schedule to educate the listeners about the power of real estate investing. I gladly appreciate it. Now, what I would like to know, and can you tell the listeners about who you are and where you're calling from, and what are we actually going to learn from you today in terms of how can the listeners in this down economy make real money in the real estate industry?
Well, Arthur, I'm educated as an attorney, but when I got out of law school, I always was interested in real estate investing, and I started like most people start with small properties. I bought a very small two-family house in Los Angeles and fixed it up and sold it, make a little money, and then I bought a 4-unit. Then I moved to the East Coast and I bought an 8-unit, and then a little small office building, and so forth and so on. And during my career, I've bought and sold single-family houses, small multiple-unit buildings, apartment buildings, factory buildings, warehouses, retail, office buildings, land. I'm always looking, Arthur, my theory is to try to do what I call add value. And by that I mean that I try to find property that has something wrong with it, in its simplest terms, that I can correct without a lot of money and hopefully boost its value in multiples of what I put into it and then resell it. Now, that's easier said than done, but that's always been my theory. I'm not a long-term hold guy. I don't believe in buying and waiting for appreciation or inflation to help you along. I've always been a guy who looks to add value to what you acquire.
Now, the properties that you purchased early in your career, was those properties cash flowing for you?
They were. They weren't cash flowing and making me rich by any stretch. My plan was always, okay, let me give you an example. Maybe let's talk about early in my career. I find a two-family house, and it's not selling because it is cosmetically not very attractive. You know, it needs a paint job, the lawn is overgrown, there's some cracked windows, and so I do a calculation that I can fix those various items for, let's just make up a number, $5,000. And that by doing so, I'm going to increase the value of the property by $20,000. So my goal wasn't necessarily to make money from the rental income. My goal was to figure out a way to improve the value of the property quickly and in a multiple of what I had to invest. And that's the most basic example of adding value. But most of the investing I did for my entire career had some added value approach. Some of the properties were cash flowing, some were not, but I wasn't a long-term holder anyway. I was looking to be in and out within a couple of years if I could.
So earlier in your career, you had a different strategy than what you do right now in terms of real estate investing?
No, I'm still of the mind. I still believe, you see, I think that people went into long-term investments thinking rents would always go up and values would always go up, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But my theory was don't count on general economic forces alone. It's good to have the supply and demand curve in your favor, but my theory was try to find a way to help the process, if you will, to boost the process. And it could, I gave you a simple example of cosmetic improvement. It could be you find a property and by getting it rezoned, you dramatically increase its value. It could be that you find a property that has a very poor marketing approach. So you bring a new approach to the property, and by just doing that, you dramatically boost its value. Those are the kinds of things that have been the touchstone of what I've tried to do. By the way, I would very much like to tell your listeners that I do not believe that real estate is a get-rich-quick opportunity. I know there are a lot of people out there, oh yeah, we can teach you to do this and we can teach you to do that and you'll get rich quick. And I've been at this for 30 years. I've been around a lot of very, very successful real estate entrepreneurs. I've had some very good years, but it's a risk-reward game. And if your listeners aren't prepared to take some risk, aren't prepared to work very, very hard, aren't prepared to get up off the ground when you get knocked down, well, I'm not sure that real estate entrepreneuring is the right endeavor for them.
Now, you mentioned cosmetic improvement. So is it good to purchase a property that has the least amount of work that's going to give you the most amount of cosmetic improvement?
Yeah, if you can find, let's stay with the small house example, the single-family house or the two-family or the four-family. If you can find a property, you know, people don't all have vision. A buyer looks at a house, let's just make it up, that's not painted, that has some broken windows, the lawn is overgrown, maybe the master bedroom is too small and dark. Most buyers don't have vision. They cannot see what that property could be if you just corrected those 3 or 4 or 5 items. They don't know what it will cost. They don't know how long it will take. They don't know how the property will look. So that buyer who can see what the property could be, who understand that it's going to cost, again, a make-up number, X, whatever X is, who understand they can do it quickly, they have the ability to get the most return out of their investment, the biggest bang for the buck, and usually it's about cosmetics. If you have to buy a property and do a lot of structural work, if you have to put on a new roof, if you have to start moving walls around all over, that usually isn't what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is cosmetics. You're trying to change the appearance of the property, new paint job, maybe new tiles in the bathroom. Of course, what sells residential are kitchen and bathrooms. So, you know, maybe you put in new appliances, maybe you put in a skylight. It's usually cosmetics that we're looking for as opposed to structural or fundamental changes to the property.
Now, I know there's 3 kinds of markets when it comes to real estate investing. You have low income, middle income, and upper income. So no matter what property that you're willing to purchase, the property is going to fall into one of those 3 categories. In terms of cash flowing, what would you suggest, and can you educate my listeners about what would be the best property to purchase in terms of cash flow? Would it be lower income, middle income?